If you've watched this channel very much at all, you know that Schlappen is one of my favorite feathers ever. Just the versatility of it for big flies, little flies, tails, bodies. It's a great, great feather. But sometimes just standard, flat, one-colored Schlappen is just kind of boring. Sometimes you want a mottled effect that creates some depth within your fly. Enter barred Schlappen. Look at this tail. I mean, yeah. If you haven't guessed, in this product spotlight video, we're covering barred Schlappen. And wait till you see what we do with it. Just, So Schlappen and barred Schlappen can be used for tons and tons of different things. From saltwater flies to bass poppers to tails on bigger streamers. This is where I love Schlappen. I love a Schlappen tail. And we're going to show you how to do it the right way. Just a little bit. To steelhead flies, collars, bodies, tails, you can almost create a whole fly out of this stuff. You really can. So the difference in Schlappen and barred Schlappen is pretty big. So if you look at a pack of regular yellow Schlappen, you're going to see a bright package that has just all one color. Like, it's just yellow. But then a package of barred Schlappen that's yellow right next to it. You can tell this stuff is just way more natural. There's a lot more going on in this than just a straight bleached dyed feather. So if you're ordering online or something, just expect that your color will be muted, or at least more natural looking, be a little darker than what you might be thinking. If you're ordering chartreuse, you can bet the chartreuse will not be punch you in the face chartreuse for the most part, because it's got the darker barring in it. So chartreuse pack of barred Schlappen and regular chartreuse. Big difference. Not saying that's good or bad, I'm just saying there's a difference. So there are two different kinds of barred Schlappen. You have naturally barred Schlappen, that this is what comes off the bird. They're just dyed olive. This is just dyed olive. The barring is natural. It's how the bird grew. And then you have dyed barred Schlappen. I think I said that right. So you can see the difference in this dyed barred Schlappen that has bolder barring on it. These are not naturally like this. These were probably white and then dyed olive and then barred. I'm just guessing here. I don't know the process, but these are dyed barred. These are not naturally black and olive. But it creates a more bold, more uniform barring compared to the natural barred Schlappen that we've got here. These are two different processes, and they can be used interchangeably. I would lean toward the heavy dye barred Schlappen when I'm really wanting a bold, dark line, or a bold, just a lot more bold. I'm going to say bold a bunch of times in this video. And I might lean toward the natural barred when I want something just to kind of blend a little prettier. So speaking of blending, we're going to jump over to the vise and tie this really cool woolly bugger that is going to show you how two different colors of barred marabou palmered around the hook really creates this depth and this natural look to a woolly bugger versus just a standard olive woolly bugger. But it creates this natural effect that has some depth to it and lends itself to being really good for a natural approach. So let's jump over to the vise and show you this really cool woolly bugger. So for this tweak on a woolly bugger, we're going a little bit big. This is a size 2 4XL streamer hook. Going a little oversized. Why not? For the tail, we're going with 3 different kinds of marabou. I've got chartreuse, olive, and barred marabou to top it all off. Starting with chartreuse. Next is olive. We're going to go a little bit longer than the chartreuse. And to top it off, we got black and olive barred marabou. Now we're going with our barred Schlappen. When you're doing double colors, how you tie them in matters a ton. You want to tie them in with the front-facing color, which is our olive and black, in the front. So we have to start with the chartreuse, tying it in by the tip. For the underbody, we're going with ice dub. I just love this so much. Now we're going to grab some hackle pliers. And whip finish. Now I'm going to take a dubbing brush and get in these fibers in this ice dub. Pull a little bit out. I mostly stay on the top on this. And look at everything that's going on in this woolly bugger. It's just gnarly. So for the two different kinds of barred Schlappen I've showed you in this video so far, we need to talk about colors. First up, the Montana Fly Company barred Schlappen. Obviously this is olive and this is white and black. There's gray and black, chartreuse, red, orange, yellow, olive, rust. There are 10 different colors of these feathers. On the naturally barred Schlappen side of things, we have colors like brown, natural, chartreuse, tan, olive, yellow, and purple. They've got a few other colors, but I just don't have any of those here. The naturally barred stuff is natural. It's not something that you're going to see perfect barring on every single feather. And some feathers may have a lot of just some different natural cool things going on in them. I'm specifically looking at this feather. Like, that looks super cool, right? But what I'm getting at is if you are looking for perfect barring on natural Schlappen, you're not going to find it. Because it's natural. It's no secret that I'm a streamer guy. I just am. So when I think of Schlappen, I think of tails. Just immediately what I think of. I love a Schlappen tail. The kick you get out of it for what little downside, I don't even know if there really is a downside to a Schlappen tail, but the kick you get out of it and just the extra movement you get of these two feathers hanging 3 inches, 4 inches off of your hook, it's just good. But I've seen so many people get frustrated with tying in a kicker Schlappen tail, and it starts to spin on them, and it kind of gets funky. So we're going to jump over to the vise and show you how to tie this tail in to where they are just perfect. So when it comes to tying in a feather tail, like on a double deceiver and stuff like that, take your time finding feathers. Ideally, you're looking for two feathers that are super straight. They're kind of shaped the same. You don't want one that's super big and then one that's super skinny. If you could turn these and they mirror themselves, you're doing really good. What you are not looking for is the crap feathers that are in every package of Schlappen. That's just how they work. See, this one is kind of big, but it's got this twist in the tip. Yeah, no. And this one, yeah, there's just everything wrong with this one. So, yeah, no. Take your time finding feathers. It'll fix 85% of your problems. First step, find how long you want the feather and start tearing off fibers. Next, see where my thread is? That's where we're going to start the tie-in process. You don't want to start off back here. It doesn't give you any room to help it from spinning. If you start off back here, chances are it's going to spin a lot more than it will if you do this. First feather. Notice how much I'm going to be wrapping over these fibers. This is a really good thing. Think of these fibers that you're going to be wrapping your thread over as like a speed bump. As we wrap around these fibers up here, you can think of them as like filler, so the stem doesn't want to twist. It's got something to stop itself on because it's got extra fibers on the shank. So super light wraps, super light wraps. Zero pressure involved here. See these fibers that we've wrapped around the shank? Right? This is a good thing. So now we're going to start applying pressure. And you can tell, as soon as I apply pressure, that stem didn't want to wrap around the hook. Same thing for the other side. Measure it off based off of your other tail. Tie in. Super light wraps. Now that we have both feathers set, I've not used a bunch of really heavy thread turns yet. When I pull down on this thread, neither one of these want to spin around the hook already. So like, this is the test if they're gonna wanna spin. Because once you start to apply pressure, that's when the stem will want to start to kind of spin. So we're already in a better place than we've been in the past. Lots of pressure, no stem movement. So now we're gonna grab both feathers and the shank of the hook, right? Medium thread wraps, just to get the thread back where we want it, and then bind it down. So the test to see how well you did is to look at it from the top. If your hook shank and feathers are all in one straight line, you're golden. So in this video, I showed you a couple different ways to use barge slopping. There are tons and tons more ways to use it. Like I was saying earlier, you can use it as the collar for like a bass popper, like the feathers behind the popper head. Yeah. Tarpon flies, steelhead flies, like Schlappen and steelhead flies go hand in hand. Schlappen is easily one of my favorite materials to use out of all of them. Seriously. Like always, I've got a link in the description of this video that'll take you to where you can get some Schlappen, get all this Schlappen. Give it a shot, try it for yourself. I really like this stuff. Really like this stuff. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the barge Schlappen video. Now we're gonna give away the flies from a previous video. The random comment generator picked CD Fly Guy. And CD Fly Guy, it looks like your membership status got you over that ledge, so yeah, it worked already. CD Fly Guy, contact me on Instagram or shoot me an email, and I'll get some flies and a little care package out to you. For your chance to win the flies in this video, and maybe an extra, like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to my channel, and channel members get that many more entries into every contest, so yeah. Check the link in the description of the video or the first comment to find out how to become a member. It's where all the cool kids are.